Hello everyone, welcome to another video lesson discussion in General Mathematics. This time our topic is finding the interest, maturity or future value and present value of simple interest, and also finding the ordinary and exact interest using the ordinary and exact time. And here are the learning objectives: compute interest, maturity or future value, present value of simple interest, find the exact and ordinary time, determine the ordinary and exact interest, and then solve problems involving simple interest. Borrowing money is a part of human activities since time immemorial. It has been regarded as legitimate commercial practice of all people in different walks of life. But money cannot be borrowed all the time. Borrowing money might be a crucial decision for someone who has certain needs and purposes. But how much does it cost to borrow money? In this regard, the idea of paying interest comes in. Interest rates set the pace for the market investments. These two economic tools, interest rates and investments, are inverse proportion, meaning the higher the interest rates, the lower the value of the investment. As an individual, it is important to understand how you can make your money works, because it is a gain or loss in the lending money industry. So let us define first some key terms. Lender or creditor is the person or institution that invests the money or makes the funds available. Sa Tagalog, sila yung nagpapautang. Borrower or debtor is the person or institution that owes the money or avails of the funds from the lender. Sila naman yung nangungutang. Interest is the amount paid or earned for the use of money. Ito naman yung tubo sa perang inutang ng borrower sa lender. We also have the origin or loan date, the date on which money is received by the borrower. Petsa kung kailan natanggap ng borrower ang pera. Maturity date, the date on which the money borrowed or loaned is to be completely repaid. Petsa kung kailan dapat bayaran or tapos ng bayaran ang hiniram na pera. Maturity value or future value, it is the amount after 3 years that the lender receives from the borrower on the maturity date, or kabuang halagang dapat bayaran ng borrower sa lender or nagpautang. To compute for the maturity or future value, we also have to understand the following words or terms. First, we have the principal, symbol is capital P. It is the amount of money loaned, borrowed, or invested on the origin date. Interest rate, denoted by R. It is the annual rate, usually in percent, charged by the lender or rate of increase of the investment. So, ito yung porsyento ng tubo sa perang inutang. We also have the term or the time. It is the unit of time for which the principal is loaned or the length of time the principal is borrowed, usually expressed in years, pero pwede din siya in months, by days, or kung ano man yung mapagkasunduan ng lender at borrower. Interest can either be simple or compounded. For simple interest, denoted by capital I, it is the interest that is computed on the principal and then added to it. And the formula is equal to I equals P times R times T, where P is your principal amount, R is your interest rate, and T is the time expressed in years. Now, from this original formula, we can also have or derive another 3 formulas. If we're looking for the principal amount, you have P is equal to I divided by rate times time. And then if we're looking for R, you have I divided by P, or the principal, times time. Now, if we're looking for the time, you have I is equal to, I divided by P times R. So, this will be the formulas for the computation of simple interest. Okay, let's have some example. Xyrene borrows 10,000 pesos at 10.25 interest rate in 2 years. So in the given problem, what is the principal? So the principal is the amount being borrowed, so that would be 10,000 pesos. What is the rate of interest? This is the rate usually expressed in percent or in fractional form. And that would be 10.25% when changed to decimal. So move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So that will give you 0.1025. What is the borrowing period? Borrowing period, or the period, refers to the length of time after which you're going to pay it. So that will give you here 2 years. And then what is the interest after 2 years? So you are asked to find the amount that you're going to pay in addition to the money being borrowed. So that will give you the formula I is equal to P times R times T, or principal times rate times time. So all you have to do is to substitute the given here, okay, in the formula. So your rate should always be expressed in decimal. And then multiply everything, so you have 2,050. Therefore, the interest, or the amount of interest after 2 years, is 2,050. Okay, let's have another example. Siya deposits 150,000 in a bank at 6.8%. How much interest will she earn after 9 months? So we have to identify first the given. So we have here 150,000 as your principal amount. 6.8 is your rate expressed in decimal. So you have 0.068. And then you have here 9 months, which is your time that we need to express in years. So we divide it by 12. So that will give you 0.75 years. So to find the interest, we're going to use the formula P times R times T. And then we're going to substitute the given. So multiply 150,000 times 0.068 times 0.75. And that will give you an interest of 7,650. So therefore, the interest earned is 7,650. Okay, next example. An amount of 200,000 is invested in a financial institution. How long will it take to earn 1,000 pesos at 3% simple interest? Okay, let us identify the given first. So 200,000 here is the principal that is being invested. Okay? And then 1,000 is your interest. Yun yung kinita niya. And then 3% is your rate. Or expressed in decimal, you have 0.03. And you are asked to find how long. So therefore, you are asked to find the time. Okay, to find the time, we will be using the formula T is equal to I divided by P times R. Okay, substitute the given. So you will have 1,000, the interest. Your principal is 200,000. And your rate is 0.03. So you just enter this one in your calculator. This will give you 1,000 divided by 6,000, or 1 over 6, or in decimal you have 0.16 or 17 years. Now we have to convert this one into months. So you multiply this by 1 over 12 months divided by 1 year, or multiply by 12. And that will give you 2 months. Therefore, it will take 2 months before your 200,000 earns 1,000 pesos at 3% simple interest. Okay, for letter B, you have the same amount of investment, which is 200,000, but you are asked to find at what rate will it earn 1,000 pesos in 6 months. So again, our given is 200,000 for the principal. This time, the interest again is 1,000 and the time is 6 months. We have to convert it in years. So 6 months divided by 12, that will give you half a year. Okay, so remember that your time should always be in years. Okay, so your formula now, or you are asked to find at what rate. So R is the unknown. So for the formula, you will have R is equal to I divided by P times T. Again, substitute the given. So you have 1,000 divided by your principal is still 200,000 and your time this time. And the time is 0.5 this time. Okay, so we divide that one. We multiply this. That will give you 1,000 divided by 100,000. And that will give you R is equal to 0.1. Since you are asked to find the rate, so you convert this in percent. So that will give you 10%. So it will earn 1,000 pesos at a rate of 10%. So dapat 10% yung rate niya para kumita siya ng 1,000 pesos in 6 months. Okay, let's have another example. How much was borrowed by Mrs. Gray if the interest she paid after 15 months at 8.5 simple interest is 4,650? Okay, analyzing the problem, we have here the given. So, your 4,650 is the interest, simple interest. And then we have 8.5%, that will be your rate converted to decimal, that is 0.085. And then for the time, you have 15 months. We have to convert this one into years. So that we will divide it by 12. So that will be equal to 1.25 years. And you are asked to find how much was being borrowed. So that will be your principal. So using the formula that we have derived, so we will have P is equal to 1 or I, interest divided by rate times time. So substitute the given. So that will give you 4,650 divided by the rate 0.085 times the time, which is 1.25 years. So we multiply this one, the denominator, and that will give us 0.10625. And then divide again for 4,650, and that will give you 43,764.71. So you round off your answer to the nearest two decimal point, or to the nearest hundred. So therefore, the amount being borrowed by Mrs. Gray is 43,764.71. Okay, now that you are familiar with the term interest, the principal amount, the rate, and the time, let's have another term, which is the maturity value. Maturity value is also called the future value or a simple amount. So, you will be using capital F or capital A, kahit alin doon sa dalawa. Now, when we say maturity value, it is the sum of the principal and the interest that accumulates over the period of time. Therefore, we will have the formula, the principal plus the interest. Okay? Since the formula for the interest is PRT, principal times rate times time, we can also use this formula depending on the given. Okay? And using algebra, we can factor out P here. So we will have another formula, which is F or future value is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus rate times time. Okay, depending on the given, you can use any of the three formulas to find the future value. Now, you can also use this formula if you are asked to find the interest. So, interest is simply the future value minus the principal. So, galing siya dito sa formula na to, dinerive lang natin. And then, if you are looking for the rate, okay, using this formula, so we divide the rate, or we derive the formula for the rate. So you will have here the future amount or the maturity value minus the principal divided by principal times time. And if you're looking for time, ito naman yung formula natin. So maturity value minus principal divided by principal times rate. So lahat ito gagamitin ninyo sa pagkuha ng kung ano man yung tinatanong. All you have to do is to analyze the given in the problem. Okay, let's have an example. A dollar investment of $1,500 is transacted for 5 months at 7%. How much interest will it earn? And B, find the maturity value. So for letter A, let us analyze first. So 1,500 will be your principal amount. Okay, and then 5 months is your time and 7% is your rate. So the rate is We have to convert first 5 months into years. So, we divide this by 12. So, you can have 5/12 or you can have it in decimal. And the rate is 0.07 in decimal. So, for the interest, you have the formula principal times rate times time. So, let's have 1,500 times 0.07 times 5/12. So, all you have to do is to multiply 1,500 times 0.07 times 5. Whatever is the answer, you divide it by 12. So, that will give you 43.75. Therefore, the interest is $43.75. Okay, do not forget to write the indicated currency, whether it is in Philippine peso or in US dollar. Now, for letter B, you are asked to find the maturity value. So, all you have to do is simply add the principal amount and the interest. So, therefore, $1,500 plus 43.75, your future value will be $1,543.75 US dollar. So, yun na yung magiging pera nyo after 5 months at 7% interest. Okay, another example. How much should Meldy pay for 250,000 pesos loan if charged at 12.5% at the end of 2 years? Okay, let's have the given. So, 250,000 will be your principal amount or the amount being borrowed. Rate is 12.5%. Change to decimal is 0.125. And the time is exactly 2 years. And you are asked to find the total amount to be paid. So, that will be your future value or the maturity value. Now, unlike the previous given, you solve first for the interest and then you just add for the principal. But since we don't have yet the interest, so we will be using the second formula or the third formula. So, you choose any of these two. So, I will be choosing this one, the second formula here. So, substitute, you will have 250,000 times the quantity 1 plus, you multiply the rate, 0.125 times the time, 2 years. So, this will be equal to 0.25. And you add it by 1, so that will give you 1.25. Multiply by 250,000, so that will give you 312,500. So, therefore, the maturity value will be 312,500. So, ito na yung babayaran nyo sa inutang nyong 250,000 kasama ang tubo. Okay, I hope you understand that one. Okay, another example, at what rate will an investment of 20,000 yields 85,000 in 15 years at simple interest? Okay, so you have here 20,000 and 85,000, which is the principal and which is the future value. Remember that the future value is always larger or bigger than the principal amount. Okay, so therefore, your 20,000 here is your principal amount. And then your 85,000 will be your future value or maturity value. Because if you're going to translate this in Tagalog, ay ano daw yung rate, yung percent, kung mag-i-invest ka ng 20,000 at magiging 85,000 siya sa loob ng 15 years. So, that is how you translate it in Tagalog. Okay, so your 15 years here is your time and you are asked to find the rate. Okay, so the formula to be used will be pwedeng ito or ito. But since we don't have yet the interest, but we can get the interest. This 185 minus 20,000. But since these are the given, so it is clearer, you can use either of the two. Anyway, that will yield the same answer. So 85,000 minus 20,000 divided by 20,000, your principal times your time is 15 years. So, this will give you 65,000. So, eto na yan. Okay, and then you divide this one, we can cancel this one, and then you divide 65 by 300, that will give us 0.217 already. Or, the rate, you have to change it to percent this time. So, move the decimal point now 2 places to the right to change it to percent. So, that will give you now 21.7%. So, if you're going to invest your money, your 20,000 pesos, you look for an institution that will offer 21.7% in 15 years so that you can have it at after 15 years, your money will become 85,000 pesos. Okay, I hope that is clear. Okay, let's have another example. Jacob deposits 1 million pesos in his bank account. How long in days will it take for the amount to reach 1,001,000 pesos at 2% simple interest? So here you are asked to find the time, how long, but you are asked to find it in days. Okay, so let's have the given first. So therefore, 1 million ang dineposit, and then magiging 1,001,000. So therefore, that will be your 1 million will be your principal and your 1,001,000 will be your maturity value or the future value. And then R is your 2% or 0.02 and you are asked to find for the time. For the formulas, you can again choose to use this one or this one. Again, F minus P is simply your interest. Okay, so you have 1,001,000 minus 1 million divided by 1 million times 0.02. So this will be 1,000 divided by 20,000. So we can cancel this one. Therefore, you have 1 divided by 20. That will give you 0.05 years. But you are asked to find it in days. So we're going to do, we're going to convert it by using dimensional analysis. So we have here 1 year is equal to 12 months. So we can cancel now years. And then you are asked to find it, to convert it in days. So you know that in 1 month there are 30 days. So 30 lang ang gagamitin natin, hindi 31. So again, we can cancel that one. So you have now the days as your unit. So all you have to do is to multiply 0.5 times 12 times 30. And that will give you 18 days. So therefore, your 1 million pesos will become 1,001,000 or it will earn 1,000 pesos interest after 18 days at 2% simple interest. Okay? So, now let's have the present value. Okay, present value is the same as the principal amount. Okay, we will only be using the term present value for the next example because here the given will be the maturity value. Okay, we have 3 formulas, but if the maturity value is given, you can use this one or this one. And this one is your previous formula. Okay, so again, principal amount is the same as the term present value. Okay, example. In preparation for their daughter's debut, how much should Mr. and Mrs. Kim invest in order to obtain 200,000 pesos after 8 years at 12% simple interest? So here, they need to have 200,000 after 8 years. So how much should they invest now? So you are looking for the present value or the principal amount. Okay, so therefore, your 200,000 is your maturity value or your future value. R is your rate, is your 12% or 0.12, and the time is 8 years. You are asked to find for P or the principal or the present value. So this will be your formula since we don't have the interest. Okay, so dito tayo. So substitute So that will give you 200,000 divided by 1 plus 0.12 times 8. So multiply this one, that will give you 0.96 plus 1. So that will have 1.96. And then divide this one. So you will have 102,040 pesos, 0.82. So this should be the amount to be invested today or at present, so that after 8 years, it will become 200,000 pesos. Okay, so that is how you solve for this problem. Again, as I have mentioned earlier, in this lesson, all you have to do is to analyze the given, okay, and then use the appropriate formula for the problem. And you need, of course, a scientific calculator or ordinary calculator will do. Okay, so this time let's have ordinary time. Okay, it is sometimes called approximate time. It is based on a 30-day month computation, meaning all the months here has only 30 days. And then for the exact time, it is sometimes called actual time. This time it is based on the exact number of inclusive dates of transaction or the actual number of days between two given transactions. Okay, example, find the ordinary and exact time from May 18, 2021 to November 25, 2021. So let's compute for the ordinary time. Again, all the months or each month has only 30 days. So you have from May 18 to 30, you have 12 days. So 30 minus 18. Okay, June 30 days, July also 30 days, August 30 days, September is 30 days, October is 30 days up to November 25, so you have 25 days. You just add everything and that will give you the ordinary time, 187 days. Now for the exact or actual time, May has 31 days, so you will have 31 minus 18 is 13. And then June has 30 days, July has 31, also with August. September is 30, October has 31 days, up to November 25. So you have 25 days, and again add this one, and the exact time will be 191 days. So this is how you compute ordinary time and exact time. Okay, let's have another example. Find the ordinary and exact time from December 24, 2020 to March 11, 2021. So you have ordinary time from December 24 to 30, you have 6 days. January is 30, February is also 30, March is up to March 11, which is 11 days. So add this one, so the ordinary time will be 77 days. And then for the exact time, okay, December has 31 days, so you will have December 24 to 31, so that will be 31 minus 24 is 7. For January, you also have 31 days, February has only 28 days, and then up to March 11, so you have 11 days. Add everything, so you will have the exact time. Okay, so the exact time is also 77 days. So here, the ordinary and the exact time is the same. But again, to compute for the ordinary time, the days, the number of days in each month is also only 30 days. For the exact time, you should know all the days that all the months that has 31 days and all the months that has 30 days only. And for the February, you have 28 days. Okay, this time let's have the ordinary interest. It is an interest computed based on a 360-day year and also called the banker's interest. Okay, while an exact interest is an interest that is computed based on a 365-day year. Okay, so this time let's have the ordinary interest and the exact interest. Here we have to consider the exact time and the ordinary time. We have here 365 days for exact time and 360 days for ordinary time. We have 4 choices here. You have the ordinary interest with exact time, ordinary interest with ordinary time, exact interest with exact time, and exact interest with ordinary time. So these are the four choices that we can use. So the choice of whether to adopt the exact time or the ordinary time in any financial transactions affects the computation of interest. Now, the most commonly used is the banker's rule, and the other method is seldom used. If there is no mention of what method to be used, so therefore we're going to apply the banker's rule or the banker's method. Okay, let's have an example. Find the ordinary interest and exact interest given the following values. 5,000 pesos for 120 days at 5%. So the formula for the interest is simply principal times rate times time, but since we have here ordinary interest, we will be using the symbol I sub O for ordinary. For simple interest, simply capital I. So substitute here, you will have 5,000 for the principal rate will be changed to decimal, move to decimal, so that will be 0.05, and the time will be 120 divided by 360 for ordinary interest. Yan. So, multiply everything, 5,000 times 0.5 times 120 divided by 360. So, your ordinary interest will be 83.33. So, again, for ordinary, you divide it by 360. Now, the time. Now, for the exact interest, okay, so you will have now I sub E. So, this time, your time will be divided by 365 degrees. Again, multiply nyo lang siya, and this will give you 82.19. So, therefore, the exact interest is 82.19 pesos and the ordinary interest is 83.33 pesos. So, this is how you compute this one. Nagkakaiba lang siya sa time. So, 360 divided by 360 for ordinary and divided by 365 for exact interest. Okay, let's have the last example. Mr. Y issued a promissory note on May 8, 2015 to BPI amounting to 100,000 with interest at 6%. The due date is on October 8, 2015. Determine the maturity value to be paid. So when we say promissory note, it is a legal written statement issued by a person who owes a certain amount from another person or company. So the person who borrowed is bound to pay a certain amount on a specific date. So usually you hear it sa mga private institutions when you cannot pay your due yet. So gumagawa tayo ng kasulatan or ng promissory note. So here the given is 100,000 and then your rate is 0.06 or 6%, and then the time is to be determined using the banker's rule since there is no specified method. So when we say banker's rule, we will compute the ordinary interest with exact time. So to find the exact time for banker's rule, so from May 8 to May 31, you have 23 days. Okay, and then for June, you have 30 days. July and August has 31 days. September has 30 days. And October 8, up to October 8, you have 8 days. When we add this one, so we will have 153 days. So, yun yung magiging time natin dito. Okay, let us continue. So, we have determined the exact time using the banker's rule, that is 153 days. You are asked to find the maturity value, so we can use this formula. We know that when we distribute this one, this is equal to P plus P times R times T. And you know that that is the formula for the interest. Okay, so using the banker's rule, ordinary interest with exact time, so let us substitute the given. So, ang time natin dito, dahil ordinary interest lang siya, will be divided by 360. 153 divided by 360. Multiply by 0.06, that will give you 0.0255 plus 1, so that will be 1.0255. Okay, multiply by 100,000. So, the maturity value will be 102,550 pesos. Now, if you want to know the ordinary interest, we will subtract 100,000 sa 102,550 and therefore the ordinary interest will be 2,550. But since you are only asked to find the maturity value, so your final answer will be 102,550. So I hope that is clear. For this topic, all you have to do is to read and analyze the problem carefully. Okay, determine what are the given. And then you have to determine also the appropriate formula to be used. And you should have your calculators. So if you can do that one, all you have to do is to substitute the given to the indicated formula or to the chosen formula. So I hope that is clear. Kung medyo malabo siya sa inyo, balikan nyo yung mga example, panoodin nyo ulit. Kung kailan nyo gagamitin yung mga formulas na nandyan. Okay? Okay, that ends our discussion for today. Again, visit your Google Classroom for your output. And then kindly subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you.